X-Talks connects professionals in the life science, medical device, and food industries with useful content like webinars, job openings, articles, and virtual meetings to help you succeed in your career. This life science focused podcast brings together some of our editorial staff to share insights into the latest B2B industry news to keep you up to date.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the X-Talks Life Science Podcast. I'm Sarah Hand, Editor-in-Chief at xtalks.com, and this week I'm joined by a very special guest, Manu Garg, VP and Head of Healthcare Consulting at Definitive Healthcare. So Definitive Healthcare is a healthcare commercial intelligence company that is passionate about helping clients uncover the right markets, opportunities, and people so they can shape tomorrow's healthcare industry. Their SaaS platform creates the path to commercial success in the healthcare market. And prior to joining Definitive Healthcare, Manu worked for 11 years at ZS Associates, where he led their global real-world evidence generation capabilities to make research and regulatory-grade data available using digital data collection and custom data curation. Manu, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Well, so let's start off. If you could tell us about your background and what led you to start working at Definitive Healthcare.
Sure. So I am a mechanical engineer by training, and I stumbled upon healthcare analytics right after the 2008 recession. I've done a bunch of work in this space over a decade and a half, and as you said, most recently I was leading ZS's real-world evidence generation practice. Now, when I was approached by Definitive Healthcare leadership and when I learned about the kind of assets and capabilities they have, I found them truly differentiated from what is available in the industry. As a head of healthcare consulting, I am now responsible for leading a team of industry experts who can engage with clients and bring together the best of DH to solve their most complicated problems. And when I say best of Definitive Healthcare, it is their claims data assets, their affiliations data assets, their expert insights platform, as well as their analytical platforms such as Passports and Latitude. So I'm quite excited to be here.
Great. So you kind of touched on this a little. How is the commercial intelligence platform different from competitor products?
Absolutely. So Definitive Healthcare's commercial intelligence platform is a combination of data, technology, processes, and experts that aims to democratize the access of analytical solutions through efficiency, scalability, and speed to insights. It helps our customers, our clients, to develop, launch, and commercialize products more efficiently by delivering both pre-filled as well as data agnostic healthcare commercial intelligence. And all of it is on demand with high grade of automation, with less bringing down their spend on consulting. And so it brings the right combination of technology and people. And that is what is truly differentiating here. And to my knowledge, very few organizations in this industry have put together a set of capabilities like this and are approaching the market with the way we are, where our goal is to truly make such intelligence accessible by bringing down the cost of it.
Interesting. Okay. And so this is kind of probably a broader question, but in what ways have machine learning and artificial intelligence changed the healthcare sector? I'm assuming it's in many ways, but I'm hoping you can provide some, expert insight there.
Oh, this is my favorite topic. So thanks for asking me that question. We all are talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? Everybody has heard about ChatGPT and so on. And in healthcare, this technology is having and is going to have even more profound impacts going forward. It's going to be a step change in the ability of healthcare stakeholders to understand patients' diseases and generate treatments and then provide care and the last mile delivery model. Let me start by just giving you a couple of examples. So if you know, a lot of healthcare data is captured in unstructured way. When you go to see a physician, they're writing a bunch of notes. When you go to a radiology lab, they're taking images. all of this data is not analyzable through traditional means. If you are writing a bunch of queries, typical SaaS-based queries or SQL-based queries, it's not analyzable in this form of data. What artificial intelligence, machine learning, and technologies such as natural language processing do is they make this information accessible. They can read through swaths of text and read images and extract key points of information, which is then analyzable for ready to generate insights for those healthcare stakeholders. Even after the information is extracted, there are further use cases where artificial intelligence, machine learning can do a lot of predictive modeling to then assess what's the next event likely to occur in patient's journey. So you can imagine the kind of impact it could have. If I give you a couple of examples of the how we have helped clients in this space. So one of the clients' regular problem that we hear is that, how do we focus our commercial team's efforts in areas where they're going to get the best ROI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the problem statements is, okay, as we develop precision medicines, or medicines for rare diseases, it's hard to find those patients. So how do I know which doctor to go to and provide a detailing? Or how do I know how to set up my marketing campaign and who should be my target audiences? So that's where a lot of these predictive algorithms, what they were able to do is predict, okay, if I'm following a patient journey in a claims data set, it helps me predict where the patient is going to see a doctor next, and when are they going to become eligible for a certain therapy. And with this kind of a powerful insight, now the commercial teams can focus their energies in those clinics and in those centers. And in a way, if you think about it, gone are the days when you could just have hundreds of people of Salesforce and cover every single physician out there. You need to be much more optimizing your channel mix and so on. So the technology has profound impact. I can just keep talking about it.
Well, and as you say, the therapies are becoming so much more targeted. So it's not so much, here's this pill for, high blood pressure. We have this huge patient population who could benefit from it. Let's take a very wide approach at targeting this. They're very specific therapies, and it's a much smaller patient pool. And so, yeah, I see the challenge here in finding, like you said, those patients and the healthcare providers that are able to get those therapies in the hands of those patients.
Absolutely. Now, since you brought up the topic of precision medicine, I'll give you another example. We know that cell and gene therapy is really personalizing the medicine for a patient. But if you think about it, it's not fully personalized yet. What it is doing is it's basically saying, let us collect a number of target markers on, let's say, a cancer tumor, and we will take your body's T cells and program them to target those known markers of where, so they can target your cancer cells. But one of the recent developments is when Moderna and Merck came together, and they were developing an mRNA-based vaccine for cancer tumors. They're able to take this customization or personalization to the next level. What they did was, if let's say a patient's cancer is in neoadjuvant settings and they can be resectable, they take a sample of the tumor, use artificial intelligence to predict the mutations that the cancer is going to experience going forward, and then train the patient's cells or inject them with trained cells that can target those mutations. So in a way, now you are training the drug to treat the specific mutations that the patient's cancer is going to see in the coming future. So you're treating the cancer even before it happens.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's the power of AI. So it's just a profound technology in this space.
Yeah, that's really incredible. And then, so from the perspective of hospitals, what are some of the biggest challenges that they're facing right now? And how is this platform helping?
Absolutely. So let me take a step back and talk about the pandemic a little bit here. Um, what pandemic did was it really challenged the traditional model of being a clinic centric or a hospital centric model of care delivery of healthcare, where patients would drive, park, wait, and before they see their clinicians ever, right? What it did was it now in pandemic there's so many new ways for patients to see their healthcare providers where they want and when they want it. um, I'll give you an example here as well. Recently, I had to rush my wife to an emergency room. She was feeling shortness of breath. And so when we reached there, they took our information and then asked us to wait. After about 30 minutes, a nurse comes, takes my wife's vitals, and asks us to wait again.
Mm.
So in this whole episode, I've already lost about 60 to 90 minutes from the time I needed care to the time the nurse took vitals, and then I'm waiting even more to
Mm.
see a doctor. In this, and we were getting frustrated, so we tried some virtual network for healthcare, and we said let's call them to talk to a healthcare provider. You wouldn't imagine we were able to talk to a doctor before the emergency room doctor could see us.
Wow.
and we got a very satisfactory response to the problem we had, and we actually left the emergency room without even seeing a doctor.
Wow.
So this is a true change, and if you think about it, this is what a true patient-centric model means, where the healthcare comes to the patient where they need, when they need, and how they need it. And so I think hospitals need to adapt to it. They need to understand a lot more about patients' situations, patients' healthcare, and they need to create these tools so that patients can access their services much more easily than they do today.
So I guess that really calls into question then, when do you need to be, physically seen by a healthcare professional, and when is, a virtual meeting kind of sufficient?
Absolutely.
Obviously you need to be able to take those vital signs, but there's, other ways you'd be able to take them. That's a really that's an interesting story. Yeah.
And you said vital signs, right? Those are important. Um, I'm sure a lot of people have blood pressure monitors at
Mm-hmm.
home,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have a thermometer at home. So you can, like, remote patient monitoring is a growing trend
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of patients have these devices. My father has a pin that he can measure his blood glucose levels with.
Mm-hmm.
So patients have these tools at home, and if the initial screening can happen on the phone with these RPG in a lot of cases, not in every case, of course, but in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cases. And if you project it, and if the adoption goes big on these kind of virtual tools, imagine the impact one could have on bringing down the overall cost of healthcare
Mm-hmm.
by cutting out the unnecessary loss of work, time spent by the staff of a hospital to
Mm-hmm.
see a patient, and so on. It's just you're eliminating a lot of waste from the system.
And what about the use of healthcare data from wearables? Like, more and more people have Fitbits
Absolutely.
and things like that. I
Absolutely.
know, I know Fitbit has been getting a lot of indications recently in terms of measuring AFib and things like that. Being able to kind of
Absolutely.
tap into that data and take those signs. Yeah, that's interesting. In terms of the types of companies that you work with, then is it only larger companies, or do you find that smaller firms are investing in this kind of healthcare intelligence as well?
Yeah. We actually work across the spectrum. So Definitive Healthcare's commercial intelligence tools are equally relevant to a large pharma as well as or a large medtech or a large hospital.
Hmm.
And they're equally relevant for the smaller players because everybody is trying to get a competitive edge, trying to understand the end customer for themselves, and then trying to make decisions, right?
Hmm.
um, when we meet with our smaller clients, smaller in footprint, generally they are in need for some very quick turnaround, highly automated systems that are also cost effective to
Hmm.
manage. they don't have the kind of budget or the manpower to spend on collecting data, connecting data science expertise, building infrastructure to house that data, and then perform a bunch of analytics. They don't have time or money to spend on gathering all of that. So a lot of time when we come in, and that's why I was alluding to earlier that the truly differentiated nature of Definitive Healthcare's assets, that it brings all of it together. We have the data, we have the technology, and we have the experts. And so what these smaller clients get is a one-stop solution for their problem, and it's much more faster to turn it around because all these things are compatible with each other. And they don't need to rely on a lot of outsourced work. And when we go to the large clients, we're able to generate equal, if not more, impact there as well. Because what we see is that they're slow to adopt technology, the cloud-based solutions, and so on, right? So what we see is that they're carrying an army of data scientists or analysts, sometimes even outsourced, who are running their analytics month over month, generating reports and so on. And when we come in certain instances, we've been able to bring down a team of, let's say, 24 into a team of 5.
Wow.
And also make the quality of work much better because you're less prone to human errors now. So where our solutions are equally kind of impactful in both smaller client settings as well as in larger clients.
Great. Okay, that's good to know. And then what's next for Definitive Healthcare? What else are you working on?
Yeah. So we, as you might be aware, right, Definitive Healthcare acquired Monocle as well as Analytical Wizards recently. And we went through a very rigorous integration process where we looked at every aspect of synergies and efficiencies as well as new capability set that we can bring through this integration. And I'm very happy with the result here. We recently launched a product called Passport Express, which brings together our claims data asset, affiliations data asset, and our Analytical Wizards technology platforms, and creates one product, which just is a turnkey solution for any pharma, medtech, or any of our clients who want to get robust insights into their end customer's journey, who want to get a robust insight into the disease landscape, and who want to understand what are some of the pain points in that patient journey that they can impact upon and make their offerings more relevant. And this is not it. We're still working on many new capabilities. You're going to hear about some new announcements from us in near future. In fact, there's a product that our team is working on. And every client that I speak about this new product, they're so excited about it, and they just want to jump on the POC. And they say, like, I want to be the first one. I want to try it. Let's do a POC together. And just to give you a very small glimpse of it, this is going to be a true one-stop solution for getting a 360-degree view of a customer.
Wow.
Any data point that you could imagine would be available in this one solution about that customer. So it serves as a single source of truth for our client. They're very excited about it.
That sounds really incredible. Well, we'll definitely look forward to hearing more about that in the future. And Manu, thank you so much for your time today and telling us about your work at Definitive Healthcare. Sounds very exciting. Lots coming down the pipeline. That's now the end of our episode of the X-Talks Life Science Podcast. If you liked today's show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Thanks to all of our listeners, and we'll see you all next week for another episode.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the X-Talks Life Science Podcast. If you enjoyed our discussions today, please share the episode with your friends and colleagues, and be sure to subscribe in order to be notified when a new episode is released. To join in on the discussion, you can find X-Talks on social media, email podcast@xtalks.com, or comment on the articles directly. Links are in the show description. Take a moment to join our community at xtalks.com to get access to everything we have to offer, including webinars, job listings, virtual meetings, articles, and more. The views and opinions expressed in the podcast are those of the speakers sharing them. They should not be taken as professional advice and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position Honeycomb Worldwide. For further information, email us at podcast@xtalks.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.